When the 1990 CFL season opened, many of the media experts picked the Calgary Stampeders to finish dead last in the CFL Western Division. The touchdown horse, they said, would not be running with any kind of thunder down the sidelines. But President and General Manager Norm Kwong and head coach Wally Warnock felt that 1990 would be the year of the horse. Following a 1-1 preseason, no less than 7 rookies would dot the Stamp lineup. There was also an additional 6 newcomers from various CFL teams in the opening day lineup. Who were these guys? Alan Pitts, Derek Crawford, Eddie Brown, Joe Clausey, Darryl Hall, and the list goes on. The CFL was truly to find out that these thoroughbreds were capable of coming out of the gate and in due time would become recognized names in the CFL. July 13th in BC against Larry Kaharik's new team, the much ballyhooed BC Lions. The Stampeders' Danny Barrett proved he would become the leader of the John Hufnagel offense. Barrett would rush for 3 touchdowns, including a 46-yarder. This one, his 3rd major of the game. But with just 1 second left, Doug Flutie put up a Hail Mary pass, the Boston grad throwing it Canadian style, and Ray Alexander, the former Stamp, makes the catch, and the opener ends in a thrilling 38-all draw. And as it turned out, it would be the last time that the Stamps would face a Kaharik-coached team. With Danny Barrett unable to play on guaranteed win night, pressures fell on the shoulders of second-year quarterback Terrence Jones. The Saskatchewan Roughriders eliminated the Calgary Stampeders in last year's West semifinal, the Stamps seeking to beat the Green Machine, something they had trouble doing in all of 1989. Mark McLaughlin's foot put the Stamps up 22-13 at halftime. McLaughlin had 5 field goals in the first half. But with Saskatchewan coming on and trailing 23-22 in the fourth quarter, Tulane Terrence Jones shocks them all, scoring his 2nd touchdown of the game, this one on a beautiful 44-yard scamper. And it's all she wrote, folks, as the Stamps win guaranteed win night number 2, 30-25 over the Riders. But the defending Grey Cup champions would seek revenge. A week later at their friendly confines, Taylor Field. 10-point favorites they were. The Riders were smacking their lips, awaiting the big feast. But in the second quarter, the Stamps broke a 3-3 deadlock with 24 points. Newcomer Keevan Jenkins scores from the 1-yard line. Then it was Danny Barrett securing his 4th rushing major of the season, scoring from the 5. And then DB would set up and connect with number 85 Brock Smith, who finds an opening, and he gets on a horse and gallops 50 yards for the Calgary touchdown. And make no mistake, the Stamps play defense. The Warrior, Kent Warnock, having a great start, sacks quarterback Jeff Bentram. And Bentram, in for Kent Austin, had his difficulties all day long. The Fin Dog, Matt Finley, will take this ball, intercepting it, and not since his college career days, scores a touchdown, going 57 yards, and the Stamps shocked Saskatchewan 54-16, the most ever points scored by the Stampeders on the road in club history, and the Stamps now riding high at 2 wins and a tie. Wanting to continue the fast start, the Eastern Division champs were next. Hamilton leading in the third quarter 25-18, and then Danny Barrett finds rookie wide receiver Eddie Brown out of Iowa State, and this contest is now tied heading into the fourth quarter. Character then takes over. Danny Barrett back to pass, looks for Brock Smith. He hits him for the major score, and it's now 32-28 for the Stamps. And with the score tied at 33-28, watch this play. Out of football for a couple of seasons, Keevan Jenkins shows why he's still got the talent to play. This incredible run of 29 yards puts 6 more points on the scoreboard, and it also puts the Tiger Cats too far back. Jenkins and the Stamps win it 40-35. One more victory, and the Stamps would have their 4th greatest start ever in club history. With the score at McMahon being 14-7, ex-USFL and NFL player Derek Crawford out of Memphis State decides to turn this game around. Crawford returns this Glenn Harper punt 72 yards for a touchdown, and the Stamps set sail. Crawford played with the Memphis Showboat and the San Francisco 49ers, and more on number 83 a little later on. But before this game is out, it's Barrett again. He would connect with number 85 Brock Smith from 17 yards out, and the route is on. Then Marshall Toner from the University of Saskatchewan from 25 yards away, and the Stampeders win big 42-17, and they have their fourth greatest start in club history. 1990 has been blessed with so many highlights for the Stamps. Take, for instance, the newcomers. Rookie wide receiver Alan Pitts led all rookies in catching statistics. The Cal State Fullerton grad did it all in his first year, 65 catches, 1,172 yards. Middle linebacker Joe Clausey earned the nickname Kamikaze. 5 interceptions, tops among rookie linebackers. He also led all rookies in tackles. And the Stamps Rookie of the Year was defensive back Darrell Hall. Steady, reliable, and timely. 3 interceptions and aggressive play. A pair of Smiths made an impact down the stretch. Hammer and Henry Smith assumed a starter's role at outside linebacker, while Pee Wee Smith, with incredible speed, appears to have great potential. Derek Crawford was the club's most outstanding player in 1990. He can burn you in so many ways. Catching a pass from a Stampeder quarterback. Or by returning a kickoff. Or by returning a punt. Kent Warnock and Will Johnson finished second in quarterback sacks in the league with 16 each. The Warrior was all Canadian and the club's most outstanding Canadian and defensive player. Johnson, using great speed, was a Western Division All-Star. Place kicker Mark McLaughlin established another team scoring record with 209 points. His best moment was August 22nd against Ottawa.
So it'll be a 54-yarder for Mark McLaughlin. This would be the longest of the year for him. The longest in the CFL. Ball's down, the kick is up there. It's heading straight. It's gone! McLaughlin has won it! Holy smokes! Listen to him!
The other half of the famous kicking dogs, Brent Mad Dog Maddich, led the CFL in punting for a second straight year. And a couple of veterans were, to say the least, inspirational. Number 15, Ron Hopkins, who set numerous club records for kickoff returns, set an all-time CFL record on September 14th against Winnipeg with this 128-yard return of an unsuccessful field goal for a touchdown. And the oldest man in the CFL proved himself again. 37-year-old Lloyd Fairbanks was saluted as a Western Division All-Star and is the CFL's current active all-time games leader. The native of Raymond, Alberta, was saluted by the Stamps and has played in more games than any other offensive lineman in CFL history. Down the stretch we go. The last 6 games. In Ottawa, domination over the Eastern Riders prevails. Rick Warman and Tony Cherry led the Stampeders to a huge 52-8 win. The Stamps now 1 point behind Edmonton in the race for first place, 3 ahead of Saskatchewan in the battle for second in the West. On Sunday, October 7th, the Saskatchewan Roughriders stormed into McMahon. But the red and white broke open a 6-3 lead when all-Canadian safety Greg Peterson took this Jeff Bentram pass, and he goes 38 yards to manufacture a touchdown. Then Rick Warman will find Alan Pitts on a 15-yard pass and run play, and the Stamps are ahead. This team will do just about anything to claim victory. Witness the Worms' efforts to bring down Eddie Lowe, shedding this block to prevent the Riders from scoring a major. Perhaps this play epitomizes what the 1990 Stamps are all about. The final score, 23-16 Calgary. After a setback to the BC Lions 1 week later, the Stamps had 3 games left. The goal of capturing first was within reach, the task challenging. They must win all 3 remaining games. Quarterback Danny Barrett miraculously returned from a broken ankle and led his club to a thrilling 48-42 win over Hamilton at Ivor Wynne. The Tiger Cats almost won the game in the dying seconds, but Junior Thurman knocked down a pass from Mike Kerrigan to Earl Winfield in the end zone to preserve the win. In Vancouver, the Stamps clobbered the Lions 54-29. Doug Flutie, who has hurt Calgary so far this year, had some problems. First, it was Will Johnson who corrals him. Then, David McCrary, a Western Division All-Star, would pick off a pass, giving the Stamps a 24-7 lead as he goes into the end zone. The Stamps were well on their way. And now, the Western Division showdown with Edmonton is going to be a reality, a schedule maker's dream. First place on the final day of the season is at stake. At McMahon Stadium, temperature hovering slightly above zero, Andy McVeigh would put the Stamps ahead of Edmonton and on the board first in the first quarter, scoring from the 1. Alan Pitts contributes greatly, taking the Danny Barrett pass and scoring on a 34-yard play. Tough Stampeder defense, led by All-Canadian Kent Warnock, kept the score close, and Calgary led 16-12 at the half. And in the third quarter, touchdowns by Tony Cherry and this one by Derek Crawford, and all of a sudden, Calgary is staring at an incredible moment in club history. But the Eskimos, trailing 30-12, never quit. They began pounding back. With the wind at their back, scored 34-32 Calgary. Edmonton quarterback Steve Taylor needed to move the ball only 20 yards, and Edmonton would be in scoring position to win the game and secure first place. But defensive end Walter Ballard would help erase 19 years of frustration and make the key sack on Taylor, preserving a 34-32 Calgary win. Calgary wins first place. 1990 is indeed quite a season, aptly titled The Year of the Horse.